Have you ever been in a room where everyone somehow seems to find their people? Everyone is laughing, making plans, taking pictures, talking to each other, and you are there too. But somehow nobody's really talking to you. No one's asking you to join them, no one's coming over to you, and after a while, you start watching everyone else. You notice how easily they talk, how easily they make friends, and how naturally people seem to want to be around them. And then you look at yourself and think, why doesn't that happen with me? And maybe you've been given a name for it. You're shy, awkward, underconfident, an introvert. And after hearing it enough times, you stop seeing it as a personality trait and start seeing it as a problem. But what if it isn't? Because one of the strangest things about being human is how badly we want to belong. In a famous experiment called Cyberball, researchers literally made people believe they were being excluded from a simple ball tossing game. And even though the rejection wasn't real, their brains still showed measurable responses to the experience of being excluded. So when you feel like nobody wants you around, of course, it hurts. But here's where we make a mistake. We take, they didn't choose me, and turn it into, there's something wrong with me. Those are not the same thing. And maybe this is where being an introvert gets misunderstood the most. Because when we talk about introversion, we usually focus on what you don't do. You don't talk enough, don't socialize enough, don't have enough friends. But what about what happens inside you? Some researchers actually distinguish a form of introversion called thinking introversion, which is a tendency towards reflection, introspection, and being absorbed in your inner world. Maybe while everyone else is talking about someone else's life, you're thinking about your own. Why do people want approval so badly? What actually makes a friendship meaningful? What do I want from my life? And why do we spend so much of it trying to impress people we don't even genuinely like? See, I'm not saying introverts automatically think deeper than everyone else, but I'm saying this. If your mind naturally enjoys going inward, don't mistake that for having nothing going on, because there is a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. Research on solitude actually shows that the reason you're alone matters. Choosing solitude for yourself can be a completely different psychological experience from being alone because you feel rejected or unwanted. And that's where I think introversion can become a strength. Not because you should avoid people, not because having no friends makes you special, and definitely not because you should use I'm an introvert as an excuse to never grow. You should still learn to communicate. You should still make meaningful relationships, and you should still challenge yourself. But you don't have to betray yourself just to be accepted. Because honestly, making friends isn't that difficult. You can gossip a little, share some tea, talk about people, laugh at the same things, and suddenly you have a group. But what happens when you don't want to build your relationships this way? When you have the courage to say, I'd rather be alone than surrounded by people that I don't actually connect with, that's where your boundaries begin. And that's where something much more important begins too. Your sense of self stops depending on other people's approval. Because imagine going through life where your happiness depends on how people perceive you. Someone likes you, you feel amazing. Someone ignores you, you question yourself. Someone criticizes you, your confidence disappears. And when someone rejects you, your entire identity takes a hit. But if you genuinely understand yourself, their opinion can hurt you, it can disappoint you, but it doesn't get to define you. And maybe that's the real journey of being an introvert. Not becoming more outgoing, not becoming more popular, not learning how to make everyone like you, but becoming so comfortable with your own mind that you no longer need the world to constantly confirm that you are worth something. You can still want people, you just don't need them to tell you who you are.